Get ready with me while I give a life update. If my stress is palpable through the screen, that's because I am moving. Also because I have a toddler. I'm from Arkansas. I grew up in Arkansas, moved away, came back, you know, like everyone did post-COVID. But despite the things that I love about being here, it is not my vibe. It is not my husband's vibe. And we have been planning for a long time. When the timing is right, we're out. We got here in 2023 and we said, okay, end of this 6 months, we're leaving. Okay, now the end of this year-long lease, we're leaving. Okay, now end of this year-long lease, we're leaving. And like within all this time, it hasn't been the time. Finally, it is the time, and we are moving to the greater Los Angeles area. So we have shipped all of our belongings and are currently living out of suitcases in my mother's house. My liberal ass does not vibe with this state that has had the shit gerrymandered out of it. There are wonderful little blue dots within Arkansas. I have found them. But in terms of the overall culture, like, it is not my vibe, if you cannot tell by my content. My husband and I met when we were both living in Sydney, Australia. Once our visas ended there, we moved to São Paulo, Brazil. After that, we moved to Lisbon, Portugal. After that, we moved back to São Paulo, Brazil. After that, we finally came to Arkansas. And since all that we've been saying, we want to go to LA, we want to go to LA, we want to go to LA, and finally, after literally 6 years together, we're on our way. I do have the beauty filter on at the moment because the dark circles that I am dealing with right now are insane. Like, listen to me. When I first had my son, dark circles were popping. Had never had that issue before. When I first discovered Sarah J. Maas, again, they were popping more so. And now that my husband, my 2-year-old, and I are all sharing a bedroom for 3 weeks, no one is sleeping. All of us snore. Every one of us snores. So it's either I'm keeping them up, they're keeping me up. The beauty filter just makes me feel like a little better about myself right now. I've been getting through significantly less books over the past month because nonstop packing, including all of the books that I own. I packed up every single book that I own except for Quicksilver because I'm currently reading it, and Brimstone. Something I'm like really not excited about is finding community in a new place. I know it's kind of a stereotype talking about like how hard it is to make friends nowadays. For me, I've always grown up in religious environments, so community is kind of just like built in. Like that's one of the easiest things about growing up in a church is you never have to search for community, for friends. And unless I find a church that's very openly progressive and like proudly denounces Christian nationalism as opposed to all the other ones who are just like either proudly preaching it or benefiting but then staying silent as, you know, people get kidnapped in the streets. Unless I find a church that denounces those things, I don't plan on going and trying to find community in that way because that's not the community that I want. That being said, so not excited to move to a new place where I know no one and try to meet people. It's the fucking worst. Transition for eyeliner. My plan is library, book club, gym. Places where people go where they obviously want community are book clubs. What are you interested in? Books. You want to go somewhere where people are talking about them? Sick. That's what I'm going to do. I feel like gym is a harder one because the reality is no one's going into the gym wanting to talk to other people. But I've been a part of my current gym for 2 years and it took maybe about a year to organically just make some friends. So it works. And I have a year-long lease anyway. So like lock in. That's what's been happening in my life. It's been incredibly exhausting. Instead of reading 2-3 hours a night, I have been reading like maybe a chapter, which I know can be normal for other people. But for me, as a mother, once I was postpartum, I was like, I need something for myself. I need something to reconnect that is like selfishly for me. And that's when I like really fell into reading. That's when I was introduced to Sarah J. Maas and Romantasy and like, you know, all the good yummy stuff that's like pure disassociation. So the fact that it's taking me weeks as opposed to a week to get through a book that's like 600 pages, it feels shocking. I don't know myself. A reality of moving, I literally cannot find a brush anywhere in this house, so claw clippy it is. This has to be so bad for me here. Amongst the chaos and stress of moving, I'm gonna have something for myself, and you know what that something is? It's gonna be TikTok. So you will still be hearing from me. But without my tiny mic, I have no idea where that is.